G'day, friends. Malloy here. We are finally back in Middle-earth with the release of the Legacy of Morgoth today. I will be back playing through all of the content. I hope you guys have been enjoying it thus far. If you've not been in yet, well, welcome and come experience and enjoy it with me. Right now, I have heard that to start off the book quest again, we gotta go back and talk with them by the main waiting area for people. Sorry about that, coming through. It is always so pretty here in Umbar I just love all of the um, settings. Just gonna turn down the sound a little bit, making sure that y'all can hear my lovely voice over all the sound effects. Up the stairs we go. I am very excited to get this story going again. Here we go.
A number of unusual folk were looking for you. I trust they were friends of yours?
A number of unusual folk were looking for you, Miloa. Some elves, a dwarf, and a few others I deemed travelers from Gondor. I trust they were your friends of yours. They asked if I had seen you of late, and when I told them you often have business within the meeting hall of Darlaja, they gave me a message to pass to you. Jaith rests his weapon against one shoulder while he tries to remember the message. Yes, I recall the words, fear not. They said they have engaged the services of a merchant vessel and plan to return to their own lands, but they wish to bid you farewell before they depart. They asked for me to send you on to them in the Sail Haven, by the beacon gate on the west side of the city. They assured me they would not leave until you spoke with them, but the honor of my station begs that you will not delay. Ooh, we've got a new reputation coin, Shangani Gin. Okay. Let's go find my friends, see who's heading back to Gondor. Oh, hang on. Oh no, okay, it's still straight now. Yeah. Here they are, all my friends gathered together. Let's see what Lady Noriel has to say. Hi, Thorongil. Gotta give him a hug.
There you are.
I was not certain the guard posted at the meeting hall would give you our message in time, but it seems he proved worthy. I am surprised. Still, I welcome it. Has my mood been lightened by our success? How could it not? The purpose that brought us to these shores has been satisfied. My son Thorongil has been rescued from the clutches of the kindred of the coins, and we must go now to the green hills of Penethgalen. My husband Carndolian will be pleased to see his son's safe return, and his wife's triumph. Yes, I say triumph, though my vengeance be incomplete, and those responsible for the hurts done to my family remain unpunished. The elf warrior Sigalith advised me to set aside my desire for vengeance, and while I refused to do so forever, I told her I would not delay returning my son to his home to achieve it. But that was not all. I enlisted her promise not to forget the injustice done to my family, and if she has the opportunity to make hated Nakasi pay for them, she will do so. I have only known Sigalith for a short time, but I believe she will do as I have requested. It is only this that allows me to leave behind the city and its treacherous rulers. We are leaving Maloa, and it is just as well. Ever since Azagath Sea Shadow and Nakazi Wave Reaper fled from the Citadel of the Winds, I have been itching to return home and tell Orgulus and all my friends about the adventures I have had since coming here. They will not believe me, but perhaps when you come back to Pineth Glen, you will tell them it is all true. They will be astounded. My mother refuses to tell me much about what befell your own ship when it ran aground upon the Shield Isles as you journeyed to Umbar, but I overheard the captain of the vessel we are taking back to Gondor discussing the voyage ahead. He believes the currents and the winds will be favorable, and the journey should not take very long or be very dangerous. That is a shame. I imagine being shipwrecked can be pretty exciting, and I would like to see for myself, just once. Ah,
It is time
Nimrodel.
for me to return to the caves of the Arborim in Velpalas.
But I have made a decision. I will bring my people from the cavern that has been their home, and we will no longer mourn, but rejoice in the light of the sun and the feel of the breeze. Nimrodel smiles gently at you. Perhaps by the time we arrive, I will be ready to do this, my friend. It is one thing to speak it, and another to see it done. So true, so true. But that is the wish of my heart. Lothariel will help me in this, I am certain of it. A number of your friends have agreed to escort me home, Aloa. I hope you will forgive my taking them from you.
Queen Arwen and King Elisar would never forgive us if we allowed any harm to befall Nimrodel during her journey.
I volunteered at once to accompany her, and Eladan and Elrahir also wished to do their part. To my surprise, Gimli has also asked to come along, and I am glad of it, but his reasoning is clouded to me. He wants to hear from Nimrodel about the caves in which her people dwell, or some project upon which he wishes to set his mind. Caves and dwarves, nothing can go wrong with that, right? The thinking of dwarves is behind me, Maloa, but I am happy for his company all the same.
I do not know why Legolas is so surprised.
That I wish to accompany him as he escorts the elf Nimrodel back to her home. I've been moved by what he has shared of her story, and it brings to my mind some of the greatest love stories ever told among the dwarves of Durin's folk. Beautiful tales, lovely and sad. Gimli coughs and sputters. When he has recovered, he continues gruffly. Legolas and I vowed to travel with each other to see places dear to each of us. For me, the glittering caves, and for he, the forest of Fangorn. Then to compare the relative beauty of each. I should fear to let him out of my sight, lest he forget this promise. Gimli looks down at his boots and speaks more quietly. But of course, I would feel more at ease if Nimrodel was protected by the axe of a hale dwarf warrior. She reminds me of Lady Galadriel, and I would see no harm come to her.
I am not leaving with them. I feel that I still have work to do here.
And I would appreciate your continued help. Together, I hope we might ease the tensions between Gondor and Umbar and further the cause of peace between King Elessar and the Kindred of the Coins. Okay, great. So not everybody is leaving me. I just got worried there for a
We will
minute.
begin today, if you are willing.
Sure, I am willing. What do you have in mind, Sirgon? We will begin today. When you have bid farewell to the crew of the Wave Hunter and your other friends, there is something I must ask of you. Bellandor desires to meet with the two of us in the Citadel of Winds, the better to discuss our next course of action.
Your friends will be safe on their journey back to Gondor. I doubt it not.
That's good to know, Corodan. It is my belief and my sister's that we remain closer to danger than they. We have achieved a tenuous peace with those who rule in Umbar, for now, but we should not forget that the Kindred of the Coins may have secret purposes of its own. Azagath kept the evil in his heart hidden from those with whom he ruled the city. Might the members of the Kindred who remain act similarly? Sigilith and I have decided to stay here in Umbar and help you in the days to come. But heed our words now. Remain cautious when you speak with the Kindred of the Coins. The gravest threat among their number may have fled the city, but I believe those who remain could still pose a danger to you and to Gondor. Yay! Corodan's gonna be partnering up with us again. Although I do miss Horn and Nona, but Corodan will do. He will do.
It is true. I caution Nariel against pursuing her vengeance against the kindred.
It was a lesson of Cruel Dancer, who was once Galatani, that caused me to speak such words to Noriel. If she followed the road of vengeance to its end, as did Galatani, would she ever return from it? Or would the road curve and bend, with retribution following her back to Pinnith Glen? I do not remember the name of Noriel's husband, but if she achieves her vengeance, would it stop there, or would he be endangered? Their son, too, for whom this was done, would he be threatened anew? The lesson of Cruel Dancer inspired me to steer Noriel from this course. I have accepted the burden of vengeance on her behalf. She has my promise that my sword, Boglithur, will seek the blood of Azagath Sea Shadow and Nakasi Wave Reaper.
Are you ready to go? Let us meet with Bellandor about what awaits Gondor and Umbar in the days ahead.
He has invited us to the Citadel of Winds and assures us of safe passage there.
Bellandor wishes to discuss with us what the future may hold for Gondor and for Umbar.
How many hallways and staircases must we take to arrive at our destination, Maloa? I've already lost the path back to the entrance, despite my best effort to remember it. What must the kindred say to us that they cannot say in Darlaja, or in the main hall of this citadel?
This way, please.
I should probably be ready for anything.
Your guests have arrived, Lady Armelach.
I am pleased the two of you accepted our invitation to meet. We have much to discuss about the days ahead, and I believe the decisions we make here today may affect the fortunes of both Umbar and Gondor. The people welcomed my kindred with glad hearts, and cheered as we cast off the yoke placed upon our city by the Empire of Ordak and the heirs of Castamir. But such a change was not without cost, and the coffers of the city are at a low ebb. I have contributed much of my own fortune to the effort, but even my own great wealth cannot support the city indefinitely. War is expensive. Our wish is to spend no further, unless we must. How does Gondor feel on this matter? Does the King Elessar desire peace? He must know the corsairs of Umbar retain ships enough to make him suffer for any war he begins anew.
King Elessar desires peace. I know it will be so.
Peace may be the friend of cowards. You must respect the might of Umbar.
Are not some battles won or lost before they are ever fought, Hrothog?
What? No?
Guardsman, I must ask that you leave us.
Are you certain, my lady? These outsiders may try to harm you.
With Hrothog here, I do not think we need worry.
Very well, my lords and lady. Now there are fewer ears to hear what you have to say, Armelak. I must once again voice my dissent. These are kindred matters.
Your objection is noted, Holtec. Before we discuss our next move, we must speak of the past.
The Empire of Ordak and its Church of the All-Seeing held Umbar in the grip of fear while the heirs of Casimir carried out their commands, but that fear was founded upon terror of the Dark Lord and his powerful servants. When the great quake sundered his land of Mordor and caused the collapse of his temple, we who watched and waited knew our time had come. The number of our conspiracy was few, but we believed the people would join us when they witnessed the vulnerability of the Empire, and how near the heirs of Casimir were to defeat. When no vengeful wraith emerged from the ruins of the temple or swept towards us from Mordor, the people knew Umbar could be theirs again. With the fleet from the south, Azagath's sea shadow swept into the Gulf of Umbar. It was poorly defended now, with much of its power gone to the coast of Gondor, captured or burned. The Umbari rose up in one open revolt, thus beginning the Sea Stone Mutiny. Those of the heirs who resisted were slain without mercy. Others either lacked courage or possessed wisdom and fled. Some of these were Saclafel, the widow of Balakor the Scourge, and a number of her personal guards. It is believed she hides now among the Shield Isles and seeks to retake the city and her husband's rule, but she has not the numbers. Not all the heirs were slain or escaped. Before he could take command of the ship and flee the sail haven, our forces captured Balakad, the 20-year-old son of Balakor. We held him here in the Citadel of Winds, in this tower room, and counted him a valuable hostage.
Why have you not ransomed the son of Balakor to his mother Saclafel? Could that not end the threat posed by the heirs of Castamir?
That was the idea.
Mere weeks ago, Balakad disappeared.
Disappeared? Oh, this doesn't sound good. Only members of the Kindred of the Coins knew the identity of the man we kept in this room, Miloa. Even the guards did not know. They were told he was awaiting execution for crimes against the city. Their loyalty to the Kindred cannot be questioned. One day Balakad was safely imprisoned, as he had been for months, and then one day he was not. If the guards can be trusted, how did Balakad leave this tower room without being seen? Belendor shakes his head. The problem is more difficult than that. For the Citadel of Wind stands upon an island. Could he escape onto one of the ships and flee that way? It is hard to imagine, but neither could he walk past the many guards posted on the island and then across the bridge back to the city without being seen. He is not the only person who seems to have disappeared that day. One of Azagat's servants, a water carrier by the name of Saduk, cannot be found. Did he help Balakat to escape? And if so, where might he have hidden the son of Balakor now? It beggars belief that such an important figure of the Airsworn can remain hidden for so long.
It may be happenstance. Umbar Mok can be a dangerous place.
Who said anything about Umbar Mok?
Where else might Balakat have vanished from sight?
Saduk served Azogas. It may be he spirited Balakad out of the city, and now seeks to rejoin his master.
Azagat hid his true nature from us. None suspected his true allegiance lay with Sauron, and now he seeks to follow the map he took from Magda Corbo to some unknown end. I say we cannot know his purpose in this, but can there be any doubt that such a map can lead only to sorrow for the people of Umbar Barabel? There was a time when Nakasi Wave Reaper would not have followed Azagat on such an adventure, but I deem her mind is now clouded by the grief and rage that swirls within her breast. If the map taken by the two of them leads to some weapon of evil, can you say for certain that it would not be used first against Umbar and then against Gondor? I see two important purposes along the road ahead, Miloa. First, we must prevent Azagat and Nakasi from locating the evil they seek. Secondly, we must find Balakat, son of Balakor, and make him once again our captive. Only then will we reacquire our bargaining power over Saklafel and the heirs of Castamere. I don't know how I feel about taking somebody captive. It just doesn't jive well.
A small company must prevent Azagat and Nakasi from finding the evil they seek. Who will volunteer for this adventure?
My business with the traitor Azagoth is still undone. I will accompany you, old friend. What say you? We could use your courage and your skill on this adventure.
I'm still thinking. I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, yes, I do want to chase after Azagat and Nakasi and make them pay for what they did. But on the other hand, I mean, is the son really going to be that bad? I mean, should we not at least have mercy and take him back to his mom, as opposed to taking him captive? That's the part I don't really know about. But I guess I'll go along for now. You assure Surgon that you will stand with him on this adventure, and he smiles broadly. I did not doubt it for a moment, my friend. I dare say the elves will also wish to accompany us. I met each of them only days or weeks ago, but already I know them to be strong and capable, each in their own way. As I witnessed Sigileth's great courage when fortune ill and storm unnatural threw the wave hunter onto the rocks of the Shield Isles. Who else will accompany us?
If Harmalak believes you can manage the rule of the city without us, I will join the pursuit of Azagoth.
I am more than capable of it, Kingsman Koltek.
I would like to test my Korpeshes against these foes that claim to be friends.
Then the traveling company is set, and the quest is laid before you.
Much will depend upon how well you perform upon this adventure, Miloa. I have not forgotten that the people of my city think highly of you and believe you should join our kindred. Let this quest serve as your trial, with Rothok, Belendor, and Koltek to serve as your judges. They will assess your performance and how you conduct yourself on behalf of our shared interests, those of Umbar and those of distant Gondor. Prevent Azagath and Nikasi from following their map to whatever evil Sauron left behind and making use of it against us. So too should you seek Azagath's former servant Saduk, if he seeks to rejoin his master. He may tell you what he has done with Balakad, son of Balakor the Scourge. If you can recover Balakad alive, we may be able to end the threat posed by the heirs of Castamere forever, and that will benefit not just Umbar, but Gondor as well. The lands outside the city contain perils and dangers, the like of which few among you have ever faced. It will take some time to prepare the caravan that will take you out of Umbar and into the lands where your prey has vanished. Come to Darlajar after this, and we will make such preparations as you will need. A new adventure begins, Meloa. The weight of the years has fallen from my shoulders, and I am ready to set foot upon the unknown road once again. Let us prove our mettle, and that King Elessar chose his champions and his friends well and ably. Near Harad.
Near Harad? I know very little of these lands, but I will not turn away from the mission that awaits us.
If the capture of Azagath and Nikasi will help maintain the peace between Gondor and Umbar, I would pursue them to lands both distant and dangerous, no matter how far the chase takes me from the sea where my heart dwells, and from my home and my family in Lebanon.
Hamalok spoke of the need for many preparations before our traveling party could depart.
I hope it will not take too long before we are ready to leave. Every day wasted means our quarry gets further and further ahead, calling into question the success of our pursuit. Go to the meeting hall of Darlajar and urge them to hurry. You may be able to speed their preparations if you offer your assistance. Where am I at the moment? Oh, okay, I am down here. I will use my guide to get closer. And then we're just gonna pop over to Darlajar. It's a beautiful city here in Umbar Burabel today. The wind's breezing. I love the sound of the seagulls. I wonder what happened to Gilligan, if he went home as well, or if he's gonna be sticking around. Don't see him in the market. some party going on here.
I believe the errant members of my kindred prepared for an overland journey even before they recovered the map.
Perhaps they were aided in this by the secret wealth gathered by Sharula and others of her sort. Scoundrels hiding their true nature behind fair faces. I have seen this before. But we must take time to prepare our own pursuit, or we doom it to fail before it is begun. The lands east of the city into which Azagath and Nikasi have fled are treacherous and full of danger for the unwary. Caravans leave Umbar Barabel and follow the road of riches eastward along the Ikorban River before turning south and crossing the rocky waste that marks the edge of the Great Sands. From there it is a long, inhospitable trek to the desert kingdoms of the south, from which great wealth flowed to us, and back again. The treasure from the south has slowed in recent months. Can it be due to anything but unrest of the Empire of Ordak following the war? Caravans are now slow to depart from Umbar, and that will make their masters hungry for work. I've written an offer of employment for a caravan driver, his animals, and sufficient supplies for the journey. Bring it to Jakber outside at the forum, and he should accept its terms without difficulty. But before you depart Darlaja, you should speak with the other leaders of the kindred about their own preparations. They may have some tasks for you as well. Let's check in with Bellandor, see what he needs.
Azagath betrayed the city and its people, but that is not the extent of his evil.
The cruel sorceries he wove inflicted terrible pain and death upon the men under my command, and those are the hurts for which I will make him pay. My wife Meshka knows the direction of my thoughts, and she has encouraged me to follow where my heart leads on this matter. Still, she did not know it could take me far from the city and into the wildlands east of Umbar. Will you speak with her and learn if she would have me stay? Whatever she decides will become my course, and I will not gainsay it or act in any fashion opposed to her mind. Afterwards, if she gives her approval, I will join you and the others at the east gate of the city. Aw, how sweet of him. He wants me to go talk to his wifey. Is that a separate quest?
It is good to see you again, my
Nope.
friend.
Okay. Alright, Koltek, what do you need?
It is not a habit of mine to set forth upon a journey without knowing where it will end.
But none of us can say precisely where Azagath and Nikasi might be bound. If only Bellandor had thought to lay his eyes upon the tapestry map when he first came to Makta Korbo. Our circumstances now might be rather different and of far more beneficial flavor. But they are not, and the duration of our pursuit cannot be determined. We must prepare for a long journey and hope to be too well supplied rather than not provisioned enough. As it happens, I own a controlling interest in a number of warehouses in the city, and I can ensure most favorable rates for the provisioning of our party. Bring this order to Ibidun at Stonecliff Market in the lower ward, and she will see that it is filled.
My kopeshes have become dulled from recent use. That business with the drake, Ragrakul.
For a journey of the sort, I need them sharp. I will go to Dahal Haluz later today and leave them with Mekamum for sharpening. He can do the work while I visit my good friend Hershuk. This parchment contains a list of other things I want to bring with me on the road. Give him that and tell him I will expect everything to be prepared when I arrive. Okay, let's go talk to Bellandor's wife first. Here she is, Meshka. I didn't even have to go looking for you.
You wished to speak with me?
You tell Meshka that her husband asked that you find her and see what she thinks of his plan to pursue Azagat and Nakasi into the wildlands east of Umbar. I'm on my way to see him about this very subject, Maloa. He has my support, in this as in all things, and I plan to tell him that in person. I hope you will stand beside him and protect my Bellandor from any dangers the two of you may face upon the eastward road. He will do the same for you and for the others of your company. I am certain of it. Thank you, Meshka. I will be sure to take good care of Bellandor, and he of me. How do I get up there? Use the stairs. Alright, here's Jack Beer.
You have a caravan order for me from the Golden Queen?
Jackbird takes the parchment from you and studies it closely. At last he looks up at you. The road of riches has always been dangerous for caravans such as mine, remaining a favorite target of brigands and waylayers, but in these times of tumult, it has become more treacherous than before. I understand the Urdakai fight to maintain their grip on trade with the desert kingdoms, despite their failing empire, and men whisper of merciless phantoms and spirits hiding in the night's darkness, seeking a vulnerable prey. I will see what I can do for the Lady Harmelech in honor of our long and profitable relationship, but I fear I can promise little. You understand? Where to next? We gotta go drop off Rothok's armor. Well, Rothok's sword, sorry. Yeah, I guess we can go this way. If it wasn't for this map in my pocket, I would get lost all the time. Doesn't really want to go down. Got across here. Oh, I discovered a new spot. Deed completed. False church order. Hey, Meckelman, do you have a moment to speak to me?
What?
You have order for me? From Rothog the Storm?
You hand the parchment to Mechamon, and he slowly reads its contents, sounding each word aloud as he does. I am not a learned man, stranger, but providing weapons and armor for Rothog and his Hulus required me to become a swift pupil. The only thing more quick in all the city must be the rate at which he dulls his Copishes. When he arrives to see Hershuk, I will sharpen them, and of course we will provide the rest of the items on this list, if they are to be found anywhere within Dahal Hulus, or the storage rooms located beneath the arena. But can you tell me this? If Rothak is leaving the city, who will stay behind to feed Hershuk? None of my fellows dare approach him. Now we gotta go to the stores. Go make sure we've got enough supplies to see us through this caravan. Heading over here. Hey, I actually get to hit something for the first time today.
What have you brought me? An order for supplies for a caravan leaving the city?
Ibudun takes the parchment from you and reads it. By the time she has finished, her wordless grunts match the number of times she has shaken her head. There was a day I might have fulfilled this order, but it is months gone now. Ever since we accepted Caltech's offer of providing guards for the warehouse, items both large and small have gone missing in surprising quantities. I'm not blaming the dwarf, you understand, but it is curious, nothing more than that. As a result, we may have some difficulty fulfilling this order. I will see what I can do. Well, I've dropped up all the orders. Let's head to the east gate to go meet up with people. It's time we left Umbar behind.
There you are, my friend. I see that the kindred of the coins have kept you busy making arrangements for our departure.
While I waited, I pondered the road ahead of us and came to a realization I know very little about the lands and kingdoms to the east and south within the Hardwaith beyond the Cape of Umbar. I do not want my lack of knowledge about this area to hinder our pursuit, Miloa.
I find myself thinking about the Gondorian scribe that sailed with us on the Wave Hunter. Yes, Kaibar.
When last I spoke with him, he said he had found employment in the Tour Gardens, performing the duties of a scribe for an esteemed scholar of Umbar. Perhaps he will introduce us to his employer, and this man will tell us what we need to know about the lands of Near Harad into which we must travel. Scribes and scholars gather upon the terrace west of the arena in the Tour Gardens. I would there begin the search for our friend Kaibar. Tour Gardens. it is. Yeah, okay. Nope. I almost fell into the water. I'm getting completely turned around. Nope, nope. This way. Okay, apparently he's gonna be on the other side of this wall. I hate it here. Too many dead ends. Yeah, hopefully now I'm getting warmer. Need to hang a left. Wait, here's a bridge, maybe. No time to stop at the drinking hall, folks. We gotta go find Kaibar. Okay, finally reached him.
It is very good to see you again, my friend.
Kaibar clasps you on the arm and listens to the accounts of your recent adventures. I confess, you have made yourself more useful than I. Perhaps it is because I am a man of Gondor and the folk here distrust me, but Galan and has been slow to include me in the lessons he administers to his other students. Instead, I have been giving the duties of a servant, sorting jars of ink, picking berries for pigments, running errands for the scholar and his fellows. These are not complaints. When I chose to make a new life for myself here in Umbar, I knew where I must begin. This is merely the first step. If you help me finish my task for today, I will introduce you to Gollum, and he will have much to say about the geography and history of Nair Harad. Today I have been charged with picking the berries that color the pigments used for scholars' inks here in the Tor Gardens. I have almost collected enough, but if you help me the work will be sooner done. The berry bushes are just down the steps to the east. I was saving the nearest ones for the task's end, so it would seem to go more quickly as I tired of the errand. Let's go berry picking! Down the stairs. What stairs? Guess these stairs? Yay! Here's some berries. I wonder what kind of berries these are. Strawberries are my favorite type of berry. I like blackberries as well. But I like making strawberry ice cream and chocolate covered strawberries are even better. Hey Dad. This is city of Umbar Barabel, which is indeed not in. This was last expansion's main city. More berry picking. Oh, not that way. He said he kept the nearest ones for last, so the rest should probably be further ahead. Oh, and here's some berries. Wait, there's a berry bush. And there's the last berry bush. I got all 6 berry bushes plucked. These has to be no, these are too tall to be strawberry bushes. They're definitely not blackberries, because blackberries come from trees.
Yes, thank you. These should provide the amount of pigment for which I was made responsible.
The scholars of the Tor Gardens go through a lot of ink and a lot of scrolls as they perform their work. Be glad that today was berry picking rather than parchment making, for that takes much longer. I had thought Gollum would be back by now, but he has not returned. He may still be at Cantaglam in the northern reaches of a place called Kamrabzur in Umbar Mok. I overheard him talking about having to go beneath the city for some reason, but his task may be taking longer than he expected. If you find him at Cantaglam and tell him I have finished my own task, he may be willing to impact the knowledge you need. I hope he is safe. I have heard the passages beneath the city can be dangerous. Alright, we gotta go into the city. Let's go see if we can get in there. I confess I've only spent a little bit amount of time in the city below, so I'm not sure where all these entrances might or might not be. This looks promising. Okay. We are in Cantaglam, which was close to where we were, which I expected. Oh, there's Gollum. You have found Hybar's teacher, Gollum. That almost sounds like Gollum. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I am in no danger.
You tell Gallum that his student Khyber was worried about him, and the man laughs. I have come to the passages beneath the city in search of a book that has been misplaced. Has my student already finished the task I set before him? You assure him that Khyber has done well, and he suggests that Gollum might answer your questions about the lands east of Umbar. Gollum looks at you appraisingly. It is true, I could do that. Unfortunately, there is still the matter of this misplaced book, and I can answer no questions until I have recovered it. If you retrieve it for me, I will be happy to instruct you. The book is called Kanash Tubu Hara, and its author is unknown, which only adds to the tome's allure. It may be somewhere far in the south halls of Harakfar, here in Umbarmok. The gladiators that roam those halls believe the book possesses some secret sword art, and they are always stealing it away with the hope they might learn the technique. Alright. Well, I do love books. I love reading books, I love writing books. Now I guess I am going to fight my way through to go pick up a book. Just don't leave me in a bookstore, I might never come out. I should probably... I'm tempted to just get on my goat, but I don't want to pull too much and end up dying. So I'm just gonna play it a little bit safe and enjoy some shooting of stuff, because I've just been talking to everybody preparing for this trip south with the caravan. I've never been on a caravan. I wonder what it'd be like. I should probably have remembered that I'm a hunter and I can put on a run speed. We're almost there. Yay, I found the book. Okay, now I'm just gonna ride back to him. I found your book for you.
This is not the only time the hoolies from the arena have stolen away Kanash to Buhara.
The legend of that tome grows with every passing year, and no amount of study has yet convinced them the arts contained within are beyond their possibility to learn. For me, the technique is of no interest. I am attracted to the beauty of its unknown author's prose. He or she named it Kanashtubuhara, which means Road of Bending Reeds, in the language of Old Shangani. I thank you for returning it to me. But let us climb now to the surface and join my apprentice Kaibar where I left him, in the tour gardens. Then I will answer whatever questions you may have for me. Your recovery of Kanashtubuhara has earned you some of my time.
My teacher, Jalim, has suggested that I begin the lesson, so I will do the best I can.
I must warn you, I do not know a great deal about Nir Harad.
Already you have betrayed your lack of knowledge, young Kaibar.
You are not to blame for it, but you hail from Gondor and your words reveal it. Near Harad, you name that land, but you speak in error. That is the Gondorian name for the place. Indeed, Harad is an Elvish word. It means south, for these lands are south of Gondor, and that relationship has been one of the uneasy tension or of war. To the folk who live there, it is named Shagana, the fair land, but even that makes too simple a more complicated reality.
Tales from long ago speak of a green and fertile land threaded with mighty rivers.
Shagana, the fair land. Yes, it was fair once. Tales from long ago speak of a green and fertile land, threaded with mighty rivers. The men who came to that place worked the land, their 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 crops thriving, and they harvested valuable spices and rare wood from the forests, and gold and jewels from beneath the hills. But that was long ago. The wealth of Shangana was like a campfire set upon a hill, and covetous men saw it from afar and hungered for the spices and the rare woods and the gold and the jewels. These men came from even further south, in Jarmat, which my student Khyber might call Far Harad. But they came too from Khand in the east. They came from other directions as well, from the west and from the north. They came from Numenor, and later from Gondor. The Shangani number these among their cruelest oppressors.
I understand the actions of Gondor in the south may appear unjustified to the Haradrim, but
None who join the armies of Sauron can claim to stand on the side of justice. How can the people of Harad Khyber sputters to a halt? How did the folk of Shangana come to stand with Sauron, Gollum? Did they not oppose his evil? Were there none who fought his domination?
Throughout the lands of the south, he was known as He Who Sees All, or Barhush.
And he came to dominate various smaller kingdoms, and in time even the great empire of Ordak. Those who opposed his rise were slain in terrible numbers, and as the power of those kingdoms grew, so did that of Barkosh. Fewer and fewer stood against the might of the Dark Lord and his servants, and more believed that his and their strength might serve to drive back their ancestral enemies, the Kandari, the Numenorians, the Dunedain, and the Gondorians. You ask how Barkush came to dominate the fair land. That was the foundation. His church ruled through fear, but so too did it promise something the Shangani had sought for centuries: victory over their enemies. Was it a lie? Perhaps it was, and the execution of that lie would forever change the face of Shagana and the fate of its people. But I have grown parched. Bring me a jar of water from the fountain down the stairs to the east, and I will tell you how Barkush and the vast empire he now controlled conquered the fair land and transformed it forever. Yeah, I kind of need something to drink as well. Some fresh water.
Thank you for this water. It will prove most helpful with my demonstration.
What demonstration? I thought you were going to drink it. He takes a brief sip of water from the jar before continuing. East and south of Umbar, beyond the marshlands of Amburul, there was a green and fertile plain called Sugadin, bordered on the south by the river Usal. That waterway formed a natural barrier between Jagana and the lands where originated the great southern empire of Ordak. Gollum upends the jar you brought him and spills the water onto the ground. Hey, I just brought that to you.
It is the most valuable of all the resources to be found in this part of Middle-earth.
More valuable than any of Lady Harmelech's golden coins or the abyssal prized by kinsman Koltek and the Tamamur dwarves. Water. Only with it can crops thrive. Without it, life cannot survive. You will notice its absence within a day. Within 3 days, you would kill to acquire it or perish yourself. But water can be even more valuable than this. Water can protect you from your enemies. It can serve as a barrier, and if that barrier disappears... Gollum falls silent, considering the ground by his feet where the water he poured has already soaked into the gaps in the cobbles and vanished. 200 years ago, a terrible drought and famine fell upon the green fields of Sugadin. Where once thrived the abundant kingdom of Nisaka, the river Usal ran dry, leaving only the arid and cracked channel that was once its riverbed. Desert claimed the Khud, and the fertile land on either side of the Usal became the Lakadin, the Witherlands. This distressing process came to be called the Great Dearth, and the lands through which the Usal flowed never recovered. They will never be green again. Dang, that's sad. The drying of the river Usal removed the last barrier between Shagana and the great southern empire of Ordak. The armies of the Ordakai, sounds almost like Ordakai, marched north into Shagana and brought formerly separated kingdoms under the control of the whole of Ordak and the Dark Lord he served. Most learned men believed the Great Dearth was not caused by nature, but was the result of Ordakai sorcery given to them by Barkush. Ever was the Dark Lord seeking to remove the barriers between the lands under his control and those he sought.
Can this be true? Can the sorceries of the Empire of Ordak truly have such an effect?
Upon something so large as the swift-flowing river? Guibar immediately puts a hand over his eyes. No, I am being foolish. How could I have forgotten the terrible smoke that Sauron sent before his armies during the war? The day without a dawn came to all of Gondor, darkening even distant Ithring, where my family lives. My mother and uncle resented my absence on that terrible day and the weeks that followed. but I witnessed it in Minas Tirith, and knew the despair of it even as they did. Of course Sauron could grant to the Uruk-hai such terrible powers, if it served his fell purpose. Khyber removes his hand from his eyes, now widened with sudden realization. Gollum, have you ever heard of something called the Song of Waves and Wind? Could it be some tale or legend of Sauron or the Ordok? Might it be related to the great dearth that dried the river Usal and brought the desert to Shagana?
The Song of Waves and Wind. No. I'm not familiar with such a tale or legend as that.
Somehow I don't believe him. The lands to the east and south of the Cape of Umbar contain many mysteries, and the histories of the people who dwell there are complex. It could be the mention of such a thing as simply buried or lost to time. Water and wind are both of great significance to the people who dwell in Shagana, for each have greatly affected their lives across the centuries. If your travels bring you to these lands, I advise you to listen to the folk who dwell there, for they will be better teachers on such matters than even I can claim to be with all my renown. I sense now that I have given you what instructions you sought, and I must take my leave. Perhaps one day my student Kaipar will be able to share such knowledge as this with you, but he is still young and unlearned. It will be some time. Thank you again for the return of Kanush to Bahara. I bid you good fortune if your journeys bring you to Shagana. Farewell.
Thank you for providing this helpful instruction to us, Shalim.
I appreciate your teaching and for imparting this knowledge to the both of us.
Part of me wishes I could come with you on this journey, but a greater portion knows I cannot.
That concludes today's adventure. Thanks for watching and happy hunting.